Hello, this is Yaakov Kronenberg from Jerusalem, and another class on Leo ascendant with the sun in the different signs, and tonight we'll be doing the sun in Taurus. As you know from my general introduction on Leo, we explained that the Leo fulfills itself 10 signs from where it is, which is the sign of Taurus. The fulfillment of Leo is Taurus, and that the Leo wants money. The king needs money. You can't be a king if you don't know, or a queen, if you don't have money to dispense. You have to be the noblesse oblige. In order to do good to other people, in order to benefit the masses, you have to have money to give the people. And so a person has got the sun in Leo rising with the sun in Taurus in the 10th house, can be very career oriented, very, very money oriented type of chart. Right? These are the politicians that they spend all their time trying to raise money. So they can, so they can win elections. You see it now. The everyday Obama, instead of being president, he's running around with all the rich people trying to get them to give him money. And Romney too is, all the time. You see how he's having, fundraisers and more fundraisers, because that's the Leo. To be king, you need money. You need to convince the masses, to choose you. And to be able to dispense money. You see in the election year, the president is dispensing money left and right in order to, get people to vote for him. And so that's the nature of the sun in Taurus with a Leo ascendant. And it can be very bad, it can be very good, or it can be very bad. Everything has a propensity for good or bad. So when a person wants money too much, then it can be bad. Right? Because not when he wants money too much, when a person wants like the pleasures in this world, right? You get somebody who's like very, very pleasure oriented, and they need, and they want money for this and money for that, and so then it can be sometimes it can be very bad to have this Leo with the sun in Taurus. Because they'll drive a person over the edge sometimes. They'll do things that are incorrect to try to get money. And so tonight I want to look at a chart of somebody who had a tremendous desire for money, and was very. Also, we're going to see his chart. You'll see he had tremendous desire for money, for the pleasures of life, the good things of life. And he also had a very, what can we say? He had a very, what's the right word for this? He didn't have a good philosophy on life. His philosophy was not very good. And his Mercury was also, we're going to see, was not very good at all. And from Mercury, you see the honesty a lot of times of the person. And so tonight I want to look at the chart of Mr. Madoff, Bernard Madoff. He was one of the great swindlers of the early part of the 20th century, the 21st century. He was caught in about 2008-9 that he, stole hundreds of millions of dollars from people. And if we just take a quick look at his chart, so we see first of all that he had Leo rising, and he has the sun in Taurus in the 10th house. But not only the sun, he also has his moon conjunct his sun in the 10th house. And he's got two other planets in the 10th house, Uranus and Venus. So he's got 4 planets in the 10th house, and plus the 10th house cusp is in Taurus. So tremendous amount. He's got a stellium in Taurus. Is like his chart is tremendously Taurian because of that emphasis of 4 planets being in the Taurus sign, and counting the sun and the moon, the 2 lights. So when you have both lights in Taurus, there's going to be a big, big need for money. And if you look at his chart, the 2 good planets Venus and Jupiter, they're both exactly connected to the ascendant. Venus is exactly square to the ascendant. It's in 29 degrees Taurus, 42, and his ascendant is 2849. It's within of Leo. We're within 1 degree of an exact square, and his Jupiter is at 2806 Aquarius, as opposed to the ascendant's 2849. It's within 40 seconds of being exactly opposite. So here's a man who wanted pleasure, wanted the best things that money could buy. And I think, with the Jupiter there in the 7th, his wife was also, must have instigated him to make a lot of money. Right, with Jupiter. The Jupiter there symbolizes her needs for the good life. And so when you have all that tremendous Taurian energy to make money, and then you have the need for all these pleasures, and then you look at his Mercury. Mercury is the planet of business, We always say the ancients used to hold a really good Mercury makes a doctor, a scientist, Talmudic scholar. Good Mercury makes a good businessman. It's not as good as being a scientist or a Talmudic scholar, but it's at least he'll get parnasah with kavod. But if someone's got a bad Mercury, they're the crooks of the zodiac. Let's put it that way. And if you look at his Mercury is in the house of philosophy, religion, and it's connected with a very bad Saturn. Saturn there in Aries in fall, lacking patience, lacking foresight. They don't see the end of their actions, and they don't see any responsibility for their actions. And so his Mercury there is connected to that bad Saturn. And both of them are disposited by Mars. Mars in Gemini can be a tremendous liar, right? A really bad Mars in Gemini is not the greatest, especially when it's getting that energy of Saturn and Mercury. It makes that a bad Mars, because it's picking up that bad energy. It's the disposer of that Saturn. And Mars becomes bad because of its conjunction to Saturn. And so Mars in Gemini is the liar of the zodiac, right? Gemini is speech. Mars is a bad misuse of speech. And so the guy was really a born liar, right? And so he said the two planets that are connected with his Mercury are Saturn and Mars. And also he's got Pluto, the higher octave of Mars, exactly square his Mercury. So he had a very, very incredibly bad Mercury, this man. And it brought him into, eventually, to end up in jail. Right? So you see, here's the guy, again, if you look at it quickly, I picked up this chart, I don't remember where. I am using it now from a new site I found called astrotheme.com, which also has a lot of charts on it you can get. It's astrotheme.com. I'm using it from here. And it's very, very interesting chart, because you see those four, you see the tremendous orientation towards money, the tremendously bad Mercury, aspected powerfully by three malefics, Mars causing lying, the bad philosophy, and the tremendous the Saturn, the Venus and the Jupiter, very powerfully connected to the ascendant. A man who wanted the best things in life, and it all led together to make a first-grade swindler. And I hope everybody enjoyed the class, and I thank them for listening.